My name is Sid, and today we are going to be talking about the origin of the swastika. I have been aware for a few years now that the swastika is actually an ancient symbol that dates back way before the Holocaust, okay? But it has sadly been tarnished with this negative image because of it. Understandably so. But it's kind of sad that especially the Western world isn't aware of this ancient sacred symbol and its history before the Holocaust. They only see it as this negative hate symbol, but it was so much more before that. People, especially in Asia, are aware of this because it's very prevalent. I haven't been to Asia yet, but I know multiple people who have traveled there, and the symbol is all over. Like, you go into Hindu temples, the swastika is there. You see it on buildings, on the street, even in places in China and Japan, I hear it's there as well. Especially India, because it's a very prevalent symbol in multiple different Indian religions, which we're going to get into. So I kind of compiled some notes and wrote basically a little script for this video. Here we go. The swastika is an ancient symbol dating back to at least 12,000 years ago, which that's 10,000 BC for those of you who don't want to do the math. I remember the first time I heard about the swastika being a sacred symbol, it was thought to depict the Big Dipper and its movement throughout the year. It also represents the 4 seasons, the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, water, so many different things. It represents movement, but those are like the 4 cardinal directions. Obviously, for the sake of travel and navigation, multiple different cultures throughout the world discovered the fact that there's north, east, south, and west. There's so many things that come in groups of 4, so to have a symbol with 4 things pointing out of it just makes sense that so many places around the world thought of this, especially if you look at how the Dipper moves through the sky and the shape of the Big Dipper and it turning. That's a swastika. Obviously, the Nazi regime appropriated this powerful symbol to push their agenda during World War II. The colors red, white, and black were used in the Nazi flags to symbolize the Imperial German flag, which is black, white, and red. This wasn't the first time this symbol was appropriated, though. It wasn't Hitler to do it first. It was actually this guy, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, in Austria who used the swastika for the New Templar Order, which apparently is still kind of like going on in certain places. I'm not hip on all of that information, but I do know that he used this symbol of the swastika first before Hitler did a couple decades later. We are going to get into a few more specific examples, not super specific, because like I said, this symbol is used literally all across the world in places in Africa, like Ethiopia. I've also heard actually that there's communities in Africa who don't have much communication with the outside world, who use swastika as their own local sacred symbol, not having any knowledge of these other communities and cultures using it as well. Take that for what you will. But there's also obviously pictures of it depicted in places in Europe, like Poland, obviously many places in Asia, like Tibet, places in South America, like Peru, and places in North America, many different Native American tribes, like the Hopi, but many others as well. Native Americans used this sacred symbol in clothing, in artwork. There's so many examples of this. I really feel like that is a representation of the Big Dipper and its movement through the skies, but it also represents love, nature, peace, and balance. The word itself, swastika, though, actually originated from the Sanskrit word savastika, which means well-being. It is this very positive, very harmonious word, and it's been twisted for negative. But anyways, it is a sacred symbol in Hinduism. Usually it's depicted with 4 dots in it as well. The clockwise swastika represents the sun, the day, life, karma, movement, peace, and luck. There's also a lesser used counterclockwise swastika, which is known as the swastika, which represents the night. In Hinduism, this swastika symbol is connected to the 4 stages of life, as well as the 4 goals of human existence, which is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Dharma is duty, artha is prosperity, kama is pleasure, and moksha is freedom. It is very commonly found in Hindu temples, and just when you walk into some Hindu people's homes, it's right there. It's on clothing, it's in artwork, everything. It's in mandalas drawn during marriages and naming ceremonies, and then during Diwali, candles are set out in swastika shapes, and it's also drawn in usually sand during Diwali. In Buddhism, the swastika is often depicted on Buddha's feet, hands, chest, etc. It is thought to represent life, death, and rebirth. It is a symbol of good luck, life, good health, and mindfulness. Jainism, which is another ancient Indian religion which is focused mainly on nonviolence and self-control, also recognizes the swastika as this ancient sacred symbol. It represents 4 things that you can be reincarnated into: heaven, hell, human, or plant/animal. The Chinese yuan is a swastika symbol thought to come from Buddhism, and it represents good fortune, so certain dynasties used it. Like the Tang dynasty was like, oh, this is this powerful symbol, we're going to use this for our family, for our country, so it's found in China as well. The Aryavaka is a Armenian swastika. The ancient version of this, like the earlier depictions of it, look the most swastika-like. The more modern versions of this symbol look less swastika-like, but it can be found on Bronze Age artifacts, on Copper Age petroglyphs, really all over Armenia, more so the modern version now, but this ancient, very much so swastika-like symbol is found on all of these ancient artifacts from Armenia. The Laburu is a Basque swastika representing the sun, the elements, love, unity, and cycles. The Felfat is an ancient swastika symbol representing high up status in society and also protection. So it's found on these thin gold pendant necklaces in graves in Sweden and Denmark. It was on women's jewelry especially, and it was on men's weapons and swords. So this is an example kind of ancient like witchcraft or spells, drawing or, carving this symbol into jewelry for women to wear to protect themselves all the time when they're wearing this jewelry, and to have on weapons to protect the men when they went into battle. The mirrored version of this symbol, which is called the Gamadion, was also used across the Greco-Roman world. The tetraskelion is another ancient swastika-like symbol. It was widely used. It was found on an ivory figurine artifact found in Mazin, Ukraine, and it dates back to 10,000 BC, hence it's been around for 12,000 years that we know of, probably even longer. But this artifact was found in Ukraine, and it's also been found, this symbol, in the Indus Valley between 3300 and 1300 BC, in the 8th century BC Greek pottery, and many other cultures' forms of pottery throughout the world, other textiles and other artwork, ancient temples around the world, Anglo-Saxon gold pendants, and really just any pendants. It didn't have to be gold. There was all different types of metal or material that these pendants were made out of and worn. Belt buckles. The Hakenkraus, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, is an ancient swastika symbol found in the Neolithic and Bronze Age in Serbia, Elam, Mesopotamia, and Greece from 5500 to 2500 BC. The Heart of Tursa symbol. The Tursa asand was used by Sami people, also in Finnish folklore during the Iron Age in Finland. It represents warding off evil and protection from accidents, as well as just the passage of time. It represents the thunder god Ukko from Finnish mythology, also the more popular god Thor, and their lightning bolt hammer. It's found in wooden furniture, buildings, amulets, protective talismans, etc. So the swastika is in archaeological remains all over the world. It's in early Byzantine and early Christianity artwork, but as we've talked about, this symbol predates Christianity. It is clearly a sacred symbol, and it's really unfortunate that it's been tarnished as this hate symbol and anti-Semitic symbol recently because of the Holocaust, because that's clearly not what its original use was. And swastikas are actually banned in a lot of countries, areas, specific buildings, because it's deemed this hate symbol. Places in Asia, it's still extremely common though, and it's obviously not banned because it's a sacred symbol, and most Asian people know this. Most Western people, however, have no clue. I actually think this symbol is really beautiful. Once again, it's so unfortunate that it's been tarnished as this hate and anti-Semitic symbol. I would love a tattoo of a swastika, but I don't have one yet. I don't know if I will one day, but I feel like there's way too much negative connotation around it that I don't think I want to put that on my body. Tattoo artists probably won't tattoo that here in America. If you go to another country, they gladly will. But without further ado, I want to show you guys my new tattoos. They're not swastikas, but I got this anarchist symbol on my middle finger. I got this spiral on my index finger. We're gonna go back and touch these up. This is kind of the first go around on these finger tattoos. On this hand, I got an arrow. I do want to add a little tiny line to it, so we're going to touch it up. And then I got a rose underneath my 316 here and a sword underneath my 5 there. It kind of looks like those little swords in drinks back when I was a kid. So yeah, they all have a lot of meaning to me. I knew for a while that I wanted a spiral on this knuckle to kind of match the peace sign on that knuckle. It's all very symmetrical. I do want stuff on this ring finger, but I'm kind of saving it for now. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Throw them down there in the comments below, because episode 350 is going to be my, I think, 7th Q&A video. I do a Q&A every 50 episodes, so I'm super excited about that. Let me know other video topic suggestions that you guys have, because I have a ton. Maybe I can talk about the origin of the anarchist symbol or something like that. That would be really fun to look more into, but I have lots more cool videos to come. I also do intuitive and astrological Akashic record readings if you guys are interested in that. I also do qhht and BQH, which is past life regression hypnosis. So let me know if you guys are interested in any of those services. Send me an email, sydalexandriaegypt@gmail.com. Let me know what you guys think of this video. I feel like the topic is pretty controversial just because of the recent negative connotation of the swastika symbol, but it has this very peaceful, harmonious history to it as this powerful symbol. So that is why these guys who were trying to be powerful figures used it and flipped the meaning for their negative agendas. Hitler was actually into all sorts of, I guess I could say, interesting things. He was clearly a terrible person, but he had, I guess, an interesting mind, interesting interest, because he was looking into discovering giants. He was trying to find ancient religious and spiritual texts and artifacts. Like, he was sending guys out on missions to get these things. So I will definitely do videos in the future of what Hitler was looking into, because despite him being a terrible person, some of the things he was interested in is quite curious and interesting. I also want to throw out there that one of my most favorite people in the world is Jewish. I love Jewish people. Obviously, there's terrible Jewish people, and obviously, there's amazing Jewish people. We cannot look at a specific group of people and say, everybody in this category is terrible. Everybody a part of this religion is terrible. That's not how the world works. If you guys watch my channel, I feel like you guys already know this, so I didn't even feel the need to throw that disclaimer in at the beginning. I'll throw it in at the end, though, just so it's in there. Remember to spread love everywhere you can. Smile at everybody you can. Spread that kindness, spread that love, spread those good intentions everywhere you go. Peace out.